I know a lot of you have been anxious to find out what the new PerfectWave SACD transport is going to look like and actually, kind of pet it. Well, this is it. Here we are. I thought we'd just give our YouTube viewers a sneak preview. Now, these are just going into beta testing. So we've got 40 or 38, I don't know, some number like that, of these transports that are going out into the real world as you're watching this video, and are being delivered to customers who are going to try them out, let us know what they think. If they find any problems, they don't like this, they don't like that. I mean, we can't change the look, we can't change the features, but we can make sure everything works right, which is the purpose of a beta test, and to see how it sounds. So let me run you through this. This is, as I said, the PerfectWave SACD transport, and it is just a transport. It's not a CD player, but it does play SACDs, and if you have a PS Audio DAC or an applicable DAC that has the I2S input, and we use the HDMI connector for the I2S output of this into a DAC, and I'll tell you just quickly what I2S is, but if you have that, you can actually play the DSD, the encrypted locked DSD layer on the SACD into a real DAC, not just, you could hear it if you buy a player that plays SACDs, but you can't get a high-end DAC connected up to the DSD layer to really hear the master quality of what is on an SACD. And you can with this. So, so real briefly, I2S, that is the basic format within every CD player and every transport. We've talked about it before. It has a master clock, I think it has a word clock, separate data lines. So instead of Spdif or AES-EBU, where you take the clocks and all the data and you multiplex them down into a single stream, and then you have to demultiplex them out into the I2S format. Our transports and DACs all have the ability to not compress and then decompress. So you get the raw data just as it's coming off of here. And that's what the I2S format is. So if you have a PS Audio DAC, you'll be able to hear, maybe for the first time, what's actually on the SACD layer in DSD. So a little bit what's different here. If you remember our older PerfectWave products, they had the touchscreen in front. Well, we've kind of moved away from that. I think touchscreens have had their day in the sun, and I've got touchscreens on my watch, I've got it on my phone. Enough. This is a great little screen. We call it this is our 5-button cluster. You've got, forward, fast forward, play. Here's play pause right here, and this is seek, and all the standard buttons that you would have. And then a little display, and this is where the drawer comes out. Now let me flip it around for you. This is just an engineering sample, so it's got notes on it, it's got stuff, but you can get the idea. On the back it says Alpha 4. This is Alpha Unit 4. So obviously we start with alpha units, and those go through engineering and do all their testing. Then it goes to beta, and then finally comes out for you, a prospective buyer to get it. You'll notice that there are 2 BNC connectors on the back and a coax, and there's the I2S HDMI, if you can see that. Let me hold it up a little closer here to the camera. Can you see all that? I can't see what I'm seeing, or I can't see what you're seeing, but there's the back. And you can look at our website at psaudio.com, and there's some pictures of the back. And then we have XLR outputs for AES-EBU. So these are all digital outputs, okay? I2S, as I've already told you what that is, and this is your standard coaxial Spdif output that'll connect up to any DAC. These two are interesting. If you want to do double rate DSD, does it do quad? I don't think it does quad, but it may. We'll find out when the engineers finally let us know everything that they can support. But for sure, it does double rate DSD. And most DACs aren't, if you have a PS Audio DAC, double rate DSD, whatever we output comes right out of I2S, but done. But if you don't have a PS Audio DAC, you may have it split up to where one channel comes out of one of these outputs, and the other channel comes out of the other output. And the same here. This is how we split the signal, because it's very high speed. And so some DACs have the ability to take a split signal, and that's how we get the higher speed double rate DSD into those DACs using either the BNC or the AES EBU. Okay, and then there's a connection for internet for updates and whatnot like that. Please do not make light audio products. So, all that said, now let's talk about the inside real quick, because what's kind of cool is this is the transport. This is a beautiful mechanism. This is solid construction. Super expensive. This is made by D&M. So D&M stands for Denon and Marantz, and the company that owns Denon and Marantz is a big manufacturer in Japan, and they build these beautiful drives that we buy. And you can see on the back all the electronics and stuff. And all this electronic stuff on here, all of this is for operating this drive. Very smooth metal drawer. I mean, it's a pretty slick drive. This is beautiful, and it's big. If you'll notice, on the bottom here, can you see how there's a protrusion? We wanted to keep it in the standard size chassis. So this little protrusion comes down to accommodate that drive. But here's what makes this PerfectWave SACD transport from PS Audio so unique, and why it sounds better than any transport I have ever heard in my life, is because of this. Recognize the back? 2 BNC connectors, 2 AES, right? This is actually the board, the output board that goes in back. What's special about this board is completely galvanically isolated from everything else inside. If you were to look inside of here, can I get this off? I don't think I can get this off. I think you need a suction thing to get this off. Yeah, I can't get it off. Sorry. But if you were to look inside, you'd see a big transformer, the drive, circuitry stuff, right? And this board. So when we talk about galvanically isolating, what we mean is that there is a completely separate power supply, a completely separate connection that uses no wires. There's no physical connection through the electrical interface that hooks this up to anything that's going on in here. So while this drive is working away and doing its thing, and the computer inside is doing its thing, and the power supply and all that, there's a lot of noise going on. And what we want to do is get a perfectly clean digital output. To do that, we've got to physically and electrically isolate this final stage, and then through this, there's a big FPGA here and a little FPGA and all this other stuff. What that does is it takes that signal that we transmit through the air, which is kind of cool. So there's no wires. It's just right straight through the air, kind of like a radio signal going in, and it grabs it, has its own clocking system, its own everything, and it doesn't even know. I mean, this could be a mile away, and it would be no different. And that's the key to this thing, is that galvanic isolation. That's what makes it sound so wicked wonderful. I mean, this is the best sounding transport I've ever heard in my life. I'm really proud of PS Audio Engineering for having spent a long time and a lot of money. But here it is, finally, the PS Audio PerfectWave SACD transport in the flesh. Now you know what goes on inside of it. And I hope you get a chance to hear what discs can really sound like. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later.